a true Jain business ethical transaction called Swami Bhai Ni Sarafi, around the value of 2 million rupees, between Himabhai and Narbhi Ram of Jaitpur around 1830. Himabhai's grandson was Kasturbhai Lalbhai of Ahmedabad, a textile magnate. Narbhiram grandson was Nautam Lal B. Mehta of Jaitpur, who first coined the word Mahatma for Gandhiji. This may be the only family website in the world where you will see more documents, proof, and evidence, with very little or no subjective or creative writing, because our documents speak for themselves. Note: we could have very comfortably hired a book writer, a film producer, or a journalist to make more drama with lots of publicity. But it is not in our background. And it is never needed, because every document speaks for itself with a few lines. It is a matter of your sense, your logic, and your judgment. I don't want our golden truth to be polluted. For thousands of years, Jain inherited a money transaction system of trust and integrity. No paper, no oral words, just empirical trust. Translation: a Jain's virtue of brotherhood in business. Writer: Chotalal Mansingh Kamdar. Chotalal Mansingh Kamdar is the grandson of Narbhi Ram Gopalji. They are retold by Niranjan Manilal Mehta, great-grandson of Narbhi Ram. Mehta and Kamdar of Jaitpur have had the same family last name for generations. Context: Narbhi Ram Gopalji was involved in all of Jaitpur's rulings and administration and had a reputation for honesty, trust, and integrity. Please note, 150,000 rupees in 1830 is equivalent to 15 crore present rupees, or about $2 million today. This is an authentic, well-documented, and historical story from a prominent Indian business family, Kasturbhai Lalbhai of Ahmedabad and Narbhi Ram Gopalji of Jaitpur, Gujarat. This event happened in 1830 when Jain Vanya, Varna, not caste, used to do business with sheer honesty, trust, and integrity. Pages 1 and 2 of the original published article in Gujarati. Original author: Chotalal Mansingh Kamdar. He was also took part in Chicago World Trade Fair in 1933. 1932-33 World Trade Fair. Nautam Lal represented by Chotalal Mansingh Kamdar. Definitions: Swami Bhai equals Jain brotherhood, Sadhu equals Hindu priest, Hundi, an unconditional order in writing made by a person directing another to pay a certain sum of money to a person named in the order. Lingot equals loincloth, man's underwear. Pedhi equals financial institution. Jai Sitaram equals long live Sita and Ram. Hindu gods. Sheth equals business owner. Shankaracharya Sangh equals followers of Shankaracharya. Memon equals Muslim business traders. Chimta Munim equals head accountant. Tulsi equals holy basil. Narbhi Ram Gopalji with son Bhagwanji, left. Narbhi Ram Gopalji, center. Statue of Sheth Himabha, right. Kasturbhai Lalbhai family tree. Family tree of Atul Niranjan Ashok Dhirendra, all four sons of Manial, Manilal Nautam Lal Mehta Kamdar of Jaitpur, Saurashtra, Athans and Cardan, sons of Anup, updated in the year 2024. Anish and Anup, sons of Atul, Niranjan, Ashok, Dhirendra, sons of Manilal, Vaju, Moolshankar, Manilal, sons of Nautam Lal and Chiman Lal, sons of Bhagwanji Bhai and Mansingh Bhai, sons of Narbhi Ram Gopalji. Chatrabhuj Bimji Deva Venidas Tulsidas Leva Megh Kadwa Kamar Kota. After the name of our great-grandfather, Kota, we do not have any precise info. Memorizing the family tree is an oral tradition we all must memorize in our teens. There is no chance of distortion or mistake. These Bharatiyatas and their thousands of years of interwoven traditions. Below is the translation from originally published in Gujarati translation of the letters. Context: 3 Memons, Muslim, visited Narbhi Ram Gopalji's Pedhi bank in Jaitpur. How are you, Sheth? Narbhi Ram Gopalji welcomed them with a smile and requested 3 Memons to sit in the shop. One of the Memons said, "Sir, we came to you, knowing your reputation, and we need a hundi for Ahmedabad." Narbhi Ram Gopalji asked, "How much?" The Memon man said, 1,50,000 rupees. The Memons were from Dhoraji and wanted to buy clothes from Ahmedabad. Carrying such a considerable amount was dangerous while traveling, so they thought of a hundi. The Memons came to Narbhi Ram Gopalji hoping he could write them a hundi to a similar Sheth in Ahmedabad. Narbhi Ram Gopalji had no branch or financial connection in Ahmedabad, and nobody knew him in Ahmedabad to process such an amount. This situation made Narbhi Ram Gopalji very uncomfortable. At the same time, he felt the faith and trust of these Memons in him. He felt determined to help without saying no. He questioned himself, how can I help these people? Narbhi Ram Gopalji said yes to Memon. Sure, you will get hundi from us, but you will pay a fee of 4 anna per 100 rupees. That's fine. The three Memons uttered joyfully, thinking the money would be safe. The Memon said that no one can loot you if you are walking down the road. The Memons counted the money and gave it to Narbhi Ram Gopalji, who promptly started writing the hundi, but on whose name will it be written? Since he had no branch or personal connections in Ahmedabad, who would accept such a massive financial risk without personally knowing him? However, Narbhi Ram Gopalji was born into a prominent Stanwasi Jain family, and he'd heard about Himabha Sheth in Ahmedabad, a prominent Jain businessman. His great-grandson is Kasturbhai of Lalbhai Group and Atul Industries. Narbhi Ram Gopalji also heard that 3 or 4 years back, Himabha and his family visited Palitana, the Vatican or Makkah for Jains. Knowing this Jain brotherhood, Swami Bhai gave Narbhi Ram Gopalji the confidence to write this challenging hundi in the name of Himabha Sheth. The Memons felt very happy knowing their journey to Ahmedabad would be safe, as they had no fear of getting robbed. When they reached Ahmedabad, the Memons found Himabha's shop and presented the hundi. Since it was early morning, Himabha hadn't arrived at the shop yet. A Munim took the hundi. He saw the name, but he didn't know any Narbhi Ram Gopalji. Since it was an unknown name, he raised his hands with suspicion. Right at that moment, Himabha Sheth entered. The Munim showed Himabha the hundi in a sarcastic tone in front of the Memons. Himabha told the Munim, it's okay, enter the date. He then looked at the Memons and said, have a seat, Sathiyas. We will get the money to you. Munim did not say anything. He requested Himabha come into another room for a quick chat. Munim said, how can we accept this hundi? We do not have any known contact in Jaitpur, nor do we know Narbhi Ram Gopalji in Jaitpur, nor do we have his money credited to us. Himabha laughed and said to Munim, don't worry. You must understand that the person who brought this hundi is a Memon businessman. Moreover, the person who gave them a hundi of 150,000 is aware of his respect in the market. Despite being a Janvaniya, you didn't understand the greatest virtue of Janvaniya's traits in this situation. Narbhi Ram Gopalji must have counted 150,000 rupees in Jaitpur and trusted the Memons with 150,000 hundi. We mustn't be arrogant in this situation, so kindly accept the hundi. Himabha continued to say, if these Memon trusted Narbhi Ram Gopalji by giving him 150,000, that must mean Narbhi Ram Gopalji is very reputable and with integrity. Given we are all Jain, we must trust each other, Swami Bhai. The Munim gave them their money, and the Memons said, we need a hundi issuer like this in our town. The Memons were satisfied and left with appreciation so they could start their shopping. Part 2. The following day, a group of sadhus wearing dark clothes, lingots, and their bodies smeared in ash arrived at Himabha's shop and sat down. The person cleaning the floor said, don't sit here. The sadhus noted, we want to see Himabha. The cleaner said, he's not here, and feeling uncomfortable around these sadhus, he wasn't sure what to do. The sadhus said they wouldn't stand up or move until Himabha came. So the cleaner asked them to go after an hour or else he'd have to drag them out by their ears. Then, the Munim used powerful language towards the sadhus, but the sadhus paid no heed and waited at the shop until Himabha arrived. The sadhus reached out to the side office door and started making noise by clicking their long chimes. The Munim became very uncomfortable and scared, and quickly went back inside the Pedi. One after the other, the sadhus surrounded Himabha's Pedhi and started becoming fierce and aggressive. It was quite an unusual moment, and they were chanting Jai Sitaram. Before they knew it, the sadhus increased in numbers, and now there were 40 to 50 surrounding Himabha's Pedhi. The people surrounding Himabha Pedhi started curious and wondering who these outsiders were. Some thought they might have gathered for the Shankaracharya Sangh. Eventually, the people began spreading rumors that some looters were at Himabha's Pedhi, many mouths, many stories. Himabha then arrived at his Pedhi while the sadhus were now chanting Om, Om, and smoking their corn cob pipes. After seeing the large crowd outside his shop, Himabha asked the sadhus what they needed. One of the most spirited sadhus from the group asked, "Where is Himabha?" Before Himabha could respond, the Munim asked, "What do you want? Just say it straight." One sadhu replied, "We need to talk to Himabha." The Munim spoke again, saying, "Sheth Himabha is inside the Pedhi. Do you have work with Sheth, or do you need money?" The sadhu responded, "We have business with Sheth. Tell him Narbhiram Sheth from Jaitpur knows him. Narbhiram Sheth has sent these tulsi plants." The sadhu then pointed his finger near the porch and showed them about 50 potted tulsi plants. Sheth called the Munim and asked him to bring these plants inside. The Munim was confused about what was happening and told the Sheth that they didn't have space in the Pedhi for 50 tulsi plants. Himabha said to put them in storage safely, and the Munam obliged. However, the Munim started losing patience and asked, "What will we do with all these plants, and who will water them?" Sheth said, "My brother, you're still an idiot. These tulsi plants are the payment of the hundi we granted yesterday." Still not understanding, Munim asked, "What does it have to do with these weird people outside and all these tulsi plants?" Sheth asked him to keep all the plants inside and, once finished, try pulling one of the plants with force. Once again, the Munim obliged and, with the help of the sadhus, started moving all of the plants inside. He noticed that some of the plants were heavier than others, and as he was moving them, one accidentally fell from his hands. That's when he understood the significance of the tulsi plants. He discovered a bag of money under the plant, in the pot. Himabha accepted his payment and started giving a commission to the sadhus. However, the sadhus refused, saying they couldn't take from him as they had received what they wanted from Jaitpur. After hearing this, Himabha was impressed with Narbhiram's virtue, honesty, and integrity. He was determined to meet him personally and started communicating with Narbhiram. Himabha was preparing for a trip to Girnar, and once he reached Gondal, he notified Narbhiram Gopalji. Narbhiram Gopalji and his partners organized a grand welcome from Himabha and his family, group. Upon meeting, Himabha gifted a pearl necklace to Narbhiram Gopalji's son, Bhagwanji. Narbhiram Gopalji's wife, Gangabai, refused to accept the necklace but requested that Himabha give 1 rupee to Bhagwanji as a token and blessing. Himabha was speechless but did offer the 1 rupee blessing. In this fun gathering, Narbhiram Gopalji spent almost 50,000 rupees. The local townspeople and neighboring townspeople gathered to see the two Swami Bhais and their safety. Narbhiram Sheth and Himabha Sheth then went to the Swami Satya event together and enjoyed their time together. People have forgotten Swami Bhaini Sarafi, but Himabha built a Dharamshala in Junagadh to honor the integrity and honesty of how Swami Bhais conduct business. Part 3 is significantly diverted from upper Part 1 and Part 2. The 4th generation great-grandson of Himabha, Siddharth Bhai Lalbhai, and 5th generation great-grandson of Narbhiram Bhai, Niranjan, met through karma connection twice, once in 1966 and then again in 1972. Siddharth Bhai Lalbhai visited the Ranji Trophy match as chief guest, and Niranjan Mehta was the captain of the Gujarat Ranji Trophy team in Valsad in 1972. The 4th generation great-grandson of Himabha, Siddharth Bhai Lalbhai, and 5th generation great-grandson of Narbhiram Bhai, Niranjan, met through karma connection twice, once in 1966 and then again in 1972. In 1966, Niranjan was invited by Mafatlal Industries for a job assignment. In his Gujarat mail train compartment, his co-traveller happened to be Siddharthbhai Lalbhai. Siddharthbhai Lalbhai curiously asked where Niranjan was from, and Niranjan, who at the time was 18 to 19 years old, said he was from Jaitpur. Then Siddharthbhai Lalbhai asked if he knew Chotalal Mansingh Kamdar, and Niranjan said yes, he's my great-uncle. Siddharthbhai Lalbhai said that Chotalalbhai had contributed a lot of historical and ancient Jain books to the Lalbhai Dalpatbhai Institute of Ideology and Museum of Jain in Ahmedabad. Then, in 1972, Niranjan was captain of the Gujarat Ranji cricket team, and a cricket match was being played at Atul Industries, Valsad, in which Siddharthbhai Lalbhai was hosting the game. Siddharthbhai Lalbhai's son, Sunil Bhai, was about 10 or 12 years old and fond of cricket. Sadly, he had fallen ill and couldn't come to watch the match. Siddharthbhai invited Niranjan and Maharashtra's cricket team captain, Chandu Bod, to his home for dinner. Although this was not their first meeting, Niranjan nor Siddharthbhai Lalbhai had realized or had any info, least from Niranjan Mehta's side, that both of their great-grandfathers were connected through Swami Bhaini Sarafi. Niranjan Mehta is being introduced to Siddharth Lalbhai by Jitu Bhai Patel in Black Pant as Kanti Bhai Desai in Valsad, 1972. This was written by the revered Jain Muni, Jaitmalji Swami, from Limbadi Sampraday and Jainacharya Pujya Lavji Swami in 1927. 1800 to 1850 Jaitpur Gadi Satta, managing, was controlled by my great-grandfathers Nirbhiram and Gopalji. This picture must have been taken between 1831 and 1840. The British political agents were Mr. Lang and Alexander Walker. Cameras were invented in 1830. There is a handwritten note that says this photo is gifted to Nautamlal Bhagavanji from Vakil Attorney Hajivan. The above handwritten note is written on Gopalji Chatrabhuj by some Purushottam. This note must be around 1820 to 1830.